So I have a couple questions to ask. So how many of you own an iPhone? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have 4 people in here. How much do you actually know about your iPhone? A great amount, not a lot. Not a lot?
Not a lot.
Okay, so today I'm going to be informing you about not all, but some of the changes that have been made from the very original iPhone to the iPhone 7. So the introduction of the iPhone when it was first released, the very first one, was June 29th, 2007. This was the first big reveal. Steve Jobs was getting ready to reveal it. The very first iPhone had a total weight of 4.8 ounces. The iPhone 6s that is recording this video now weighs 5.07. So the newer iPhones are just a little bit heavier, but not much. The original iPhone only could store up to 8 gigs of extra data. So phones now, the 7s can go up to about 256. So there's a big difference there. The screen the screen size on it was 3.5 inches. That stayed the same until the iPhone 5. Yeah, the iPhone 5 or 6. The operating system that the original iPhone ran on was not called iOS. It was called OS 1, 2, and 3. They discontinued that because it was glitchy and didn't work very well. The camera for the original iPhone was at 2 megapixels. The phone recording this now has 12, so increased it by 6 times and even farther now. One of the biggest things that people liked about the iPhone, or the first iPhone, was the screen would go black when on the phone, and as soon as you took it away from your ear, it would light back up again. The change from the iPhone to the 3G, which was the next phone, was very minimal. It went from an aluminum back to a black or white rear, and the software went from OS to iOS 2.0, which brought in the App Store. Now you may be wondering what changed from the 3G to the 3GS. The iPhone could now produce up to 600 megahertz, which basically means it would just go process faster. They doubled the RAM and increased the battery life, and what RAM is, it's just random accessing memory, so just stores more, and that's pretty much it. The pixel resolution is basically how many pixels it takes to make up your screen. It went from 320 to 960, so it tripled. So your screen was brighter, and if you ever have like a little white dot on your screen, you have a pixel out. The camera lens was increased to a 5 megapixel camera in the 3GS, allowing for better pictures to be taken. As well as the RAM was doubled again, and the phone could be bought up to 32 gigabyte of storage, which was a large amount for that time. Now to the iPhone 4. Actually to the 4S. We're going to skip the 4 because the 4 and 4S are basically the same. The difference between them was the 4S added Siri. That was the introduction to Siri and her stupidity. Yeah. The iPhone 4S contained a dual-core processor, which means it would process a lot faster than the 3G, 3GS. It upgraded from a 5 megapixel camera to an 8 megapixel camera, so you can see that 3 difference. We're getting better and better as we develop the phones. The biggest change, obviously, was Siri, and the 4S allowed streaming of video in 1080p. So what we have now for most YouTube videos, stuff like that. The iPhone 5 was the first phone to increase the size since the original iPhone. The 5 would be 18% thinner and 20% lighter than the 4S. It would also come with a custom-made A6 processor. That was not something that you could buy. That was something Apple created themselves. With that, it came with 1 gigabyte of RAM and improved the front-facing camera to 1.3 megapixels. Couldn't find anything on the original, so. With the introduction of the iPhone 5, iOS 6 was released. I don't know about you, but my favorite was probably 7. I don't really enjoy the newer ones. The 5C, much didn't change. All it was a color change. You could buy it in white, blue, pink, green, just different colors. Actually, the biggest thing other than the color was the introduction of Touch ID. The iPhone 5S supported a 64-bit A7 processor, and the 64-bit refers to the data type that it can handle. So there's 32, 64, and I don't know, there's probably bigger than that now. After the 5 was now onto the 6, the screen display was increased again, larger to a 4.7-inch display, and added more pixels to the screen. The 6 introduced Apple Pay, which allowed you to put your credit card, debit card, any kind of card on your phone, and you could pay that way. The 6 Plus, the change to that was it was larger by about an inch-ish, about around that, than the original iPhone 6. It went from a 4.7-inch to a 5.5-inch screen. So the 6S was taglined as the only thing that changed is everything. It changed the way the home button worked, vibrating instead of pushing it in. It also brought live photos, so a photo wouldn't be still. You take a photo and it would actually move sometimes, and you can turn that setting on and off. A lot of people were excited for the SE. The iPhone 5, it went back to a more brick kind of phone style than thinner, because I mean you could easily lose it in your phone or in your pocket sometimes. The SE came out with the same processing systems as the iPhone 6, it just smaller. To the iPhone 7, the iPhone 7 was a big deal. The 7 removed a 3.5mm headphone jack, and that had been used since the 70s, so long time. Lots of people were sad about that. It was larger and faster than any phone ever made, with space up to 128 gigs and the smallest space up to 32 gigs. In only 10 years of time, the technology has changed drastically. The iPhone has come a long way since the beginning, from barely being able to hold a phone call to becoming very portable, to becoming basically a portable computer in your hands. The iPhone has changed the way phones have been made for years and will continue to do so with our increasing advancements in technology. Now that you know about the iPhone and how it has changed, go out and test your friends' knowledge of their iPhone. Thank you.